Dun, 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 dun. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Bum, 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 bum. What's up, party people in the house?
What up, though?
Welcome to Texas Live, one of the sexiest voices in the SFL,
Mr. Master.
Dave Axis. What's up, party people of the SFL? What's going on? What's happening? What is cracking this Tuesday night? As you can see behind me, my wall is currently under construction. So hopefully in the next week or two, we will get that bad boy going. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm seeing all kinds of people pouring in to the chat. I'll give you guys a few more minutes there before I get to you. Wanted to say a few things real quick. First of all, welcome to episode 4 of season 20 of Access Live, show number 134. We're getting up there, folks. Also, I put in the Discord that we are at 397 followers on Twitch. So if you know anybody that is not following yet, get them here, because when we get to 400, I'm going to give that 400th person some swag. Speaking of swag, a couple things. Number one, all promised swag is already in the mail on the way to people. So I've been getting notifications. It's all been ordered, and most of it is already on the way. So most people will get it starting this week. Also, the last poll that I did in there was the about Valentine's Day, if we should do a show or not. Now, because that's still a couple weeks away, I'm going to leave that in there and let people keep voting on it for a while, and then we will see if we're going to do a show on Valentine's Day or not, see if there's enough people here to have a party or not. Also wanted to throw out a very happy birthday to T the Queen. Her birthday's today. T, happy birthday. I hope you're doing something special, like, I don't know, listening to Access Live or something, maybe. We'll see. And then last but not least, Bullet Boletsky will not be with us this evening. Bullet had a medical emergency. Last time I heard from him, he seemed fine, but I will be reading his bullet points. And just for the record, I think he kind of did this on purpose, actually, because he has the most bullet points he's ever had. That's how much we messed up the show last week, I think. So, but that being said, all of that being said, let's get into some party time. Let's check out. Oop, where'd it go? There it is. Let's check out my favorite part of the show, the party people. The party people. Looks like Will Todd was first in, followed by Ray, Justin Reside. Holdorf is in the house along with Wiggy. Jack Wigmore, where you been, buddy? Haven't seen you. Nate Hall's in his house. Bo Martin Jr., Bo. Morpheus Jr.'s in the house. Crazy Canuck. The lovely, amazing, perfect Pink Lisa. Tyler's here, folks. Neil Rivers is here. That's what she said. What's going on, Stefan? Packer Fred. Dion Hawkins. What's up, bro? You make it like every 10 shows. You know, it's good to have you when you can make it, man. Let me see who else we got here. I said Bo already, and Ty. Oh, Doug Britton. What's up, Doug Britton? Good to see you, buddy. Gutty's in the house, as always. Ray. Pseudo Nikai, what's up? Good to see you. Art Vandalay, love the memes in the Discord, bro. Can always count on you for that. Appreciate that as well. J Balmer 3 is in the house. I already said Will Todd. Who am I missing here? Justin Rosette, I said already. T the Queen, I knew it. I knew you'd be here. I mean, who's a better person to celebrate your birthday with than me? Maybe Doug is a close second. We'll see. Albert Begins in the house. Zoe, what's up, Stuart? Zoe Melia in the house. Nacho's here, folks. Private Claims, don't know who you are. First time chat. Welcome to the show. Good to see you as well. And let's see, Axel Raven's here. Fear Dog is back. Haven't seen you in a minute. I think that's about it. As always, if I missed you, go ahead and at me in the chat, and I will throw you a shout out. Clams. What are you saying clams for? Did I miss something? How many followers you got now? Oh, I don't know. I can't see while I'm live, so we'll have to check after the show. Let me see here. Let's move on to seeing who tonight's panelists are. As always, we've got 3 panelists. As you can see, the circle's at the top, and we'll have one special guest host that people can start guessing on. If you guess correctly, we'll throw you some swag. But starting in the top circle closest to me is someone who was just on the show a couple weeks ago, and he's back for more punishment. I don't know why, but I appreciate him being here, folks. That is Axel Raven, sporting some old school San Diego Mavericks gear. Axel, what's up? Welcome back to the program, bro.
Good evening. Happy to be here. I'm super excited about the show.
Dude, I think I almost wore gray San Diego stuff today. We would have been twinsies and shit. But let me see. Private claim. Oh, 400. Somebody says I'm at 400. Is there a way for me to see that while I'm on the air? Let me see if I can do that real quick. Hold on. Hold on a second. Everybody chill. Nope, it says I'm at 398. So, don't know what to tell you. All right. The middle circle is a good friend of mine from my former team. Now, that narrows it down because there's a bunch of guys over there that have been on the shows and what have you, but he has not been on the show yet this season. And I am welcoming back my good friend and co-owner of the Alamo City. Oh, shit. I almost said Glory. the Alamo City Artillery, Mr. Amish Mafia himself, Albert Begin. Albert, what's up, bro? I know.
Going on, Dave. Going on.
Sorry, man. You know, old habits are hard to break, man.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm just here for the mafia part. That's it.
I know. I figure you got the voice for it and everything. So there you go.
I think the beard alone. I think I got the biggest beard. Just saying.
You definitely have the biggest beard for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back to the show, bro. Appreciate you being here, man. Who else just jumped in? Looks like Jason France jumped in. Good to see you, bro. What's up? And I saw somebody, Doug Day. Dougie, what's up? Juan, Mississippi. Good to see you, bro. Bob Funk in the house. Can we really have an Access Live show without Bob Funk? I don't think it's possible. Justin Roside already said. And I think that's it for now. Friends don't let friends follow Dave. What's up with that, Art Vandalay? Oh, who said that? Crazy Canuck? Art Vandalay? Art Vandalay. I don't think Art Vandalay wants to be my friend anymore. All right, folks, in the last circle number 3, before we get to our special guest host. This is a man that is no stranger to anyone in this entire league, and he's in his usual spot, and he is back once again. I think he was just here last week, if I'm not mistaken. Everybody, welcome back, Tyler Falk. Tyler, were you here last week? I can't really remember how many muted bros there were.
No, and apparently my new little chat shortcut is that Buck is more is more entertaining than I'll ever be. So I don't even know why I there it is. So now I have 2.
Wait.
Yes.
Tyler likes his cat. It's more entertaining than anything else. What's the other one?
No, I didn't see it. So
okay.
I got Doug calling me Flat Cap in there, but or as Kevin Irvine called me yesterday, I'm Mr. Flat Cap, and alongside a certain someone we'll talk about way later.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. All right, everybody. Let me see. It's time to guess. If you want some Access swag, go ahead and throw your guesses in the stream real quick here. I'll give you about 10 seconds, 15 seconds maybe, to see who is our surprise special guest host for episode 4, season 20 of... Oh, somebody cheated. I think somebody cheated. Chris Curtis, no. Destro, no. Doug Britton, it's not you again. It's not Charles. It's not Cam. It's not Tyler, obviously. That would be. Does anybody remember the show where we had Cam in 2 circles because somebody had to cancel? We could do that. I guess I didn't really think of it. Cliff Allen says it's Soto. Cliff, welcome. Somebody says Eddie. All right, folks, here we go. Somebody did get it early on, but I didn't want to say it. So in the guest host rectangle, it is somebody who I don't know they've ever been on camera on my show before. I know they've been on voice several times, but I think this is his first time. I'm sure he'll correct me one way or the other once we pop on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show as our surprise guest host tonight, the co-owner of Fort Worth, Mr. Nacho Sicario. Nacho, what's up, buddy? How you doing, bro? How you been? Is this your first time on camera with me, bro?
No, I don't think so, man. I know I've done cam with Eddie on his show, but
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure I've been on cam on your show too.
I think you were on that show we did a long time ago when Johnny was a free agent. But I
I
don't.
did that, and I think we did an owners chat thing.
Oh yeah, we did. Were you on camera though? That's the thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Do we? All right. Well, I don't normally feel
I don't
comfortable.
remember.
I
I don't remember past 5 minutes, anyways.
do
You
not.
know.
I get you, bro. I usually don't feel comfortable having questions asking somebody if it's their first time on camera with me, but I'll make an exception for you, bro. All right, Nacho, welcome
Well,
to the
we've
show.
never met in real life, so I think we're safe there.
That's true. We almost did. We almost did in December. Almost
Yeah,
did
we
in
almost
December,
did.
but somebody had to go work in Dallas or some shit. So
Hey, man, time is money. Money is time.
that's what I heard. Anyway, all right, Nacho, welcome to the program, bro. Glad to have you here.
Thank you, sir. Good to be here, man.
All right, folks. Like I mentioned at the top of the program, Bullet is not here. Hey, by the way, how's my microphone sound? Does it sound better this week? Each week it seems like it's getting a little better. Let me know if I sound a little pitchy, a little, what's the word we used in sound check? I don't know. Some bullshit technical term I don't remember. So, we're going to do bullet points, but I'm going to have to, oh, I'm a little loud. Yeah, I get that a lot, Cliff. You're just missing an arm. Hey-o. All right. Let me find the bullet points real quick. I'm going to be reading the bullet points. And here's the thing. Bullet sends them to me, but I just copy and paste them and put them in because I don't like to read them ahead of time. I like to be surprised like the rest of you. So as I'm reading them, I will be reading them with you for the very first time myself. Here's the problem. Two things. Number one, he sent 7. He usually does 4 or 5. He did 7 because we were so messed up last week. Number two, the last one, he sent me a note and said it is the longest bullet point he's ever done. English accent. Yeah, I have an American accent, bro. What's up? All right, here we go. We're going to start with bullet point number 1. Remember, there are 7 of these. Excuse me, so bear with me as I read somebody else's writing. Bullet point number 1 from Mr. Bullet Boletsky, who we are hoping is feeling much better and hopefully already home and recovering from what happened today. Nate Hall wasn't feeling well, so he decided to put up a photo of himself on the panel instead of being on camera, and I swear that friggin' photo was watching me no matter where in the room I moved to. I think all of those hours he spent in the Matrix by the hand of Bo Martin Jr. has given him special powers. You know what? If he does have special powers, he's probably who got me sick, because I feel like I'm getting sick, and he was sick last week. I think I know who to blame. I'm just saying. Moving on to bullet point number 2 from Bullet Boletsky. Andrew Rastelli, the deputy commissioner, was the guest host, and he recounted a story from the SFL convention in Atlanta where he admittedly had a few adult beverages before playing laser tag and decided to bully a few middle school kids who were talking smack during the game. Andrew was lucky that he wasn't fined or suspended for such behavior, as it was before the SFL settled on a bigger and better COC. Moving on to bullet point number 3. Between Dave visiting with everyone in the SFL on the East Coast last week, except for me, me being Bullet, obviously, and Gunny not mentioning my epic 50-yard, 0-touchdown performance during his segment, I'm starting to get an inferiority complex. This damn show is going to drive me to drink. Yeah, way too late for that. I think everybody drinks on this show, bro. More than I already do. Thanks, Dave. Hey, Bullet, you're welcome, buddy. My pleasure. Bullet point number 3. Where's that 3? I guess this is 4. As the show progressed, there seemed to be a consensus in the chat that Nate's photo looked like an Amish mafia tough guy, and this is why Albert's here tonight, and that Dave was somehow the ringleader. I guess I'm an Amish mafia boss now. I'll add that to my nicknames. This makes sense as my sources tell me that Dave was the Mavericks, or has the Mavericks, taking wood whittling and furniture making classes to hone their hand-eye coordination while making some loot for him in the process. Dave is playing 4D chess, and the rest of us are playing checkers. Hey, there's a reason why I don't work. That's it. Moving on to bullet point number 5. Thank you, Mavericks. Appreciate all that. I gotta recoup my money somehow. Shit. All right. Bullet point number, what are we on now, Tyler? 5? Look at Doug Britton. Doug Britton's counting up to 7 already in the chat. We're not there yet, bro. After politely dumping all over Queen City during his division analysis, Tyler, you're getting thrown under the bus, bro, was feeling it and announced that he's unhappy about not getting paid for his work on the show. But Dave was very clear that he didn't give a rat's ass. Dude, this is why I like him reading them better because I get to laugh. I can't read and laugh at the same time. The chat seemed to be on Dave's side, except for Kendra, who offered to pay Tyler in Mickey Mouse ears. I don't know if the league is ready for a disgruntled Tyler, so stay tuned. Do you take payment in Mickey Mouse ears, Tyler? Just out of curiosity.
We'll see.
All right, we'll see. That's not a no. I see Crazy H 2000 in the chat. Dwayne, welcome to the show. Guy Clausen, welcome. Good to see you guys. Bullet point number, whatever the hell number we're on. 6? If anyone was looking for a barometer, 6, thank you. Hey, you had to use 2 hands. You had to use 2 hands there, Albert. If anyone was looking for a barometer of Dave's popularity, they found it when Sam Lockhart, a generic player, won the Diva of the Week for knocking Dave the F out during last week's game. All the koozies and t-shirt giveaways in the world ain't going to help you, Dave. You better start giving away some of that Amish sweatshop money. Dude, I'm just trying to picture these in his voice. He says them so much funnier. Bullet, we miss you, bro. Can't wait to have you back next week. Squibbles something. First time chat. Welcome. Can anybody read that word after squibbles in the chat? I can't read that. All right.
Chuck?
What is it? TK something. I think it's
Chuck or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. It's probably because it's too far away and I can't pick it up in my glasses. All right, the final bullet point. And Bullet wanted me to make a note that this bullet point is the longest bullet point he has ever written for all of the shows that he's helped us out with. So here we go. Bear with me. It's a lot of talking, and you know me, I don't really like to talk that much. So here we go. Tyler, it starts with Tyler. Tyler apparently took his silly pills because he spiraled out of control towards the end of the show. First, he muted himself for a good 15 seconds during the Diva of the Week segment. Then he did it again during the Pick'em segment. Then he got confused as to why his name was on the Pick'em spreadsheet twice until Dave explained it very slowly and in a 5th grade teacher voice for him. For an encore, he picked Florida to win the Charleston Alamo City game, where the cherry on top was when, out of sheer exasperation from his previous hiccups, he got tongue-tied and said corn flip instead of coin flip. Tyler swore that he wasn't drinking, but the proof is in the pudding. Tyler, this is one of those instances where you just burn the game tape and move on. Marco Swift, welcome to the program, bro. Tyler, I didn't even realize how much shit went down in that small amount of time until he just recapped it for us. I hope you're feeling better this week, bro.
White flag.
Awesome. All right, folks, as you can imagine, I'm sure this is no shocker. We're running a little behind schedule, but whatever. Master Chief, what's up, bro? Welcome to the program. Good to see you and somebody else that popped in. The West Division is going to be covered tonight by Axel Raven. Axel, there's 2 undefeated teams in this division, and I believe one team that hasn't won a game with some divisional games coming up this week. So tell us how week 3 went down in the West.
Sure. So we'll start with Arizona. So there's no way that Arizona was going to give up.
Wait a minute. Wait, what did you just?
Joke.
What did you just?
So bad.
That was so funny.
You're welcome. Yeah, it snowed again for the second game for Arizona this season. But that didn't seem to stop DJ Moses. He seemed to have special cleats on that really the snow had no effect on, because he ran 19 times for 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 44 receiving yards. Arizona had a nice balanced passing attack as well. They were really firing on all cylinders, and cold weather just seems to keep them from overheating. Keeps that engine running good. So they overcame Queen City over the weekend, and Queen City fought. They put up a few points, not a few. I think 20-some points, but not able to keep pace with Arizona's offense in the snow there. So moving on we'll go with Las Vegas. Really Price, Eric Price, not really passing great. Very low completion percentage. Seems off target. 6 interceptions last game. And Scott Johnson and Hubba Kimbrell minimally used, only 10 total rushes by them. Reside had a pick 6 on the defensive side, but really their defense, especially the secondaries, were looking pretty leaky lately. Big plays, but can't really do much with it. So They ended up taking an L over the weekend. Denver got their win. Their defense is still playing well. They looked, their defense has been sort of their shining spot. But really, this last game, the offense showed up and showed that they could start moving the ball. But the next step then is to try to get it into the end zone versus just through the uprights. They ended up winning. I think it was 9-6, and it was 12-6.
3
field goals by
Yeah.
4 out of 5.
Or 12 to,
by
was it 12-6 or 12-3?
12-3.
12-3. Yeah. It was
12-3.
all
It was
field
a
goals.
game of field goals. 4 out of 5 was Ye Verity kicker. They were really in full control of the game, which was nice to see that they seem to be stepping up. Then we've got the Mavericks. Offense still super productive, passing pretty much with a sprinkle of rush for flavor. The defense seemed to be filled with kleptomaniacs because they seem to be stealing every ball that's tossed their way. Tanner Hendricks had a pick 6, Tom Krieg had a pick 6, and Zomilia had a pick as well. Seemed their way over. Motor City did a pretty good job out there, but just could not overcome the defense, and your offense was shining out there. So that is the West.
That's it. Nacho, what do you got for Axel?
Let's go back to Denver for a little bit. I was talking to Cam. Well, in the broadcast, he was talking about that. They have found an identity. What do you think about that identity that they're trying to figure out? They definitely got a good defense. They've only given up 60 points. They're -3 net. They just got to start scoring some touchdowns. They start scoring touchdowns. The sky's the limit for them. So what do you think about that?
I think it's been, with a brand new rookie, though he has, decent value, trying to figure out what his pass style is, how that will impact or play out. O'Shaughnessy's been their bell cow for yardage in most of the games. But yeah, I think it's settling things down and finding what's going to work for them, finding what can counter who they're playing. And, it seemed like they did pretty well in keeping their opponent down this over the weekend. So,
yeah, Denver's going to be interesting this season, to be honest with you. I agree with Nacho. Not a lot of identity there yet, but like you said, Axel, we'll see what happens. So thanks for covering the West. Appreciate that. I mean, that's going to be an interesting division. The next week's coming up. Not only do San Diego and Arizona play each other in a few weeks, but they both play Baltimore and DC and stuff. So expect some shakeups in the West Division for sure. Moving on to the South Division, where my Amish friend lives in San Antonio. Well, I don't know, bro. Dude, I'm still having a hard time getting used to this Alamo City thing. Sorry, bro. What's up, Soto? Welcome to the show. Yes, that is Nacho. Nacho's the surprise guest host. Albert, the South, Alamo City, impressive win. I think Fort Worth had the bye. And then, dude, I got to be honest with you. I was expecting more last night for Houston and Mexico City. And I expected a closer game. I expected a more high-scoring game. But were you surprised, before you break down this division, were you surprised last night that not only Mexico City lost, but that they kind of got blown out a little bit? Not blown out, but double digits. 11 points, I think.
Well, when I watched the game, actually, it was very high-paced. Believe it or not, if you actually watched it, it looked like they were on cocaine. It was kind of crazy. The game itself, it was very defensive. It was very shocking. I thought there was going to be more aired out balls, and we didn't get that. We got a defensive, hard-nosed game right to the end. But a lot of their stuff was hurry up. It was like 2-minute drills for I think 3 or 4 drives straight. So I was a little taken back by it, actually, especially playing in that. We play them in a division, and they're always, it's either run heavy or they try to beat you in the air. But that was a crazy game. If you actually watch it, it was crazy.
What about the rest of this division, bro?
Fort Worth has a bye, so they're licking their wounds from the week before. Just saying.
Oh, ouch.
It happens. Sorry, but it's true. But they have time to recoup and get going. Nothing against you, Nacho. Big love. We have a challenge. Alamo City. We played Baltimore first. not easy taking down the champ. I'm not gonna lie. We rebounded and we're too strong now. It's we have some shockers for the league. Brad Jones, he's a big name that people kind of slept on, I believe. But that game showed us he can still run it. Um, you know, I still feel in this division it's anyone's game. Last season it was the same way. You had a couple of teams jump out in the lead, and next thing you know, we were battling out the last week who was going to make it, who wasn't.
So let me ask you this. I heard last night on the show with Cam and Paul, there was some discussion and there was some chat about almost like a what's wrong with Mexico City thing. But let me bring this to your attention real quick. Mexico City in week 1, where they at? I just had it. They beat Carolina on the road. That's a decent win, right? Then they had to play Baltimore. So automatically you're going to chalk that up as probably a tough game to win, and they lost by 14. Then last night they lose to Houston, where they didn't get Phoenix and Ray Bentley as involved as they normally would. I personally disagree with the talk of what's wrong with Mexico City, because we're only 3 weeks in. One of your games was Baltimore. The other game you won. So if you take away the Monday night thing, I don't see anything wrong yet. What's your take on Mexico City right now? Is it too early to panic, to push the panic button on Mexico City?
I wouldn't hit the panic button on Mexico City. You got to remember that they're kind of feeling out their new quarterback and their new receivers. I mean, it's not the same Mexico City from last season. It could be the same schemes, but it's not the same team. One player could change everything. Fortunately, I can only speak about us in Alamo City. We've gone through 5 players and been successful. I mean, I don't hear anyone talk about that, but we've done it. It's not easy. It's game planning. But I want to hit the panic button on them. I mean, you can go 0-3. We thought Houston was going to go 0-3, but they could have jumped back.
Right.
The South is a very tough decision. Nacho's in this division with me. He can tell you it's very, very tough to come out on top over here.
Yeah, I agree with that. I expect everybody to beat up everybody like they do every season in the South, and then we'll see who the last man standing is. Albert, thanks for breaking that down for us. Let's move on to the East. And Tyler, this is your division. A lot of teams in that division playing well except for one. And, we talked about Florida's slow starts, but this seems to be a little more than that. What do you think about Florida as you go ahead and break down this division?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start with some similarities for Florida and the last time they went 0-3, right? Last time they did that, season 15. Now they did win, I think, 4 or 5 in a row right after the 0-3 start to get back over 500. They would eventually make the playoffs, but lose in the playoffs. Last time they also had a negative turnover differential, where they had more giveaways than takeaways, was season 15. Last time they had a sub third down percentage, unfortunately, was not season 15, but last season, where they had a pretty decent game backed up by a solid rushing attack. They're only averaging, the Storm, 33 average rush yards a game.
Oh, wow.
Which is insane. They haven't had a sub 50 average rushing yards per game since season 14, when they only managed to rush for 49 yards per game. This is a Florida team that has been caught off guard by 3 really good teams. They've been caught off guard by Atlanta, a fantastic start from Indianapolis, and of course, this past week got shocked by Tulsa in the last minute of the game. Florida is on their heels. Portland now has a shot to do the unthinkable and put Florida at 0-4 Monday night, which, for both teams being 0-2, both teams will be very, very desperate. And I'll quickly touch on the last 3 teams here quick, Dave. Jacksonville and Louisiana's game, fantastic ball game. Louisiana made Jacksonville one-dimensional. Only, I think it was 4 or 5 rushing yards in total for Saunders in the ball game. The rest of it, 55 passing attempts from OJ Bruin. That's a recipe for disaster. And then for Atlanta to now lead the division 3-0 after some time in the background behind the likes of Louisiana and Florida and Tulsa for a time as well. It's good to see Atlanta make a resurgence, even though they're in my rival division. Dynasty playing well, and the defense shutting down Vancouver with authority. 4 interceptions and a safety in that ball game. Defense was playing lights out.
SFL just always seems more fun when Atlanta's playing well, I think. Before I have Nacho ask you a question, too, I got to tell you, this Tulsa team killing me. In week 2, I was going to go with them in the survivor pool, and I switched it to Motor City. Motor City loses. This week, in my double pick, one of my teams was Florida, and Tulsa beats them. So I'm pretty sure I'm probably picking Tulsa next week in the survivor pool. Nacho, what do you have for Tyler?
So, Tyler, what do you think about Jacksonville? Are they fool's gold, or are they just playing good football? What do you think that?
I think it depends on what type of Jacksonville team we see. If they come out guns blazing like they did versus Louisiana and make OJ Bruin through 40 plus times and not really rely on the running game, then you're going to see them lose a few more games. But if they maybe go back to basics and see what they have in Saunders and try and get him the football on the ground. He only had five carries. He only had 5 carries in the game versus Louisiana. It's nuts.
That scares me because it's kind of one dimensional. It's kind of crazy. They're scoring 35 points a game. So for them to be slinging it like that, it works really well. But obviously, we know in the SFL things can kind of change week to week, and we'll just see how it continues going for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's almost like I'm gonna pick on Motor City just a little bit. As soon as you know the kind of tricks that they're pulling, the same swing passes and little tight end short routes, and as soon as you can guard those plays, you've got maybe 75% of their playbook covered. So as long as you cover the passing game for Jacksonville, you can pretty much shut them down unless things change.
Which we saw with Louisiana this week. Tyler, thanks for breaking the East down. By the way, Motor City, super tough team to play this past week, just FYI. Moving on to the Atlantic, the last division we'll cover before we check out Gunny's Fire Watch for this week. This is going to be covered by Nacho. And Nacho, I mean, what do you say about this division with, you got Baltimore at the top. Obviously, it's their division year in, year out. It's kind of, dude, to be honest with you, it's starting to get boring talking about them winning all the time. You got Carolina and Charleston kind of neck and neck, but we had a winner already in that game. But what is going on with DC? As you break down the Atlantic for us, tell me what your thoughts are on DC seeming kind of in that Mexico City situation right now, where they're kind of struggling out the gate a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm going to start with Charleston. They've only been scoring 19 points a game. It's not that they're turning the ball over. They're just, I don't know, they just can't get a win. They're playing decent defense. They're playing decent football. They just can't get the win. They got the win against Houston. It was I think it was a 3-point game at that point, or the win there. So it's kind of it's the opposite of what Mr. Terrell Sutherland was saying that's going to happen this season, and that's kind of disappointing to see. So, and Carolina, they're on a bye week. They were on a bye week along with us, and they're matched up with the Toros this weekend. And so I'm not going to really go too much into them just because we'll see what happens this weekend. But yeah, the DC Dragons have definitely been a surprise. The defense hasn't been as good as it generally is. They're giving up 32 points a game, which isn't the worst in the league, but they have a negative 32 net. So it's kind of it's tough to say that because the majority of it came against Baltimore. They've been in close games. Their loss against Fort Worth, it was a 10-point game, and then the previous their other win, it was a close game. So it's not like most of it's coming from other places. Shabazz has been struggling really moving the ball, except for his game against Houston. He was 26 of 27. Right. He was very efficient in that game, and they need to get back to that. And the issue it's kind of in the past 3 games, he's been sacked 9 times. It's tied, I think, third most in the league. So he's been consistent when it comes to his completions. But this past week, they ran into a brick wall. That's Baltimore. I mean, he threw 4 of his 7 interceptions. in that game. So I mean, Baltimore. We'll move on to them. What can we say, man? They're the top of the SFL. Everybody wants to be there. That's easier said than done, but you know, people are and rightfully so. They're Reno is getting a lot of the love whenever it comes to the QB performances, but way more in the 1A in my opinion to Reno's 1B. He's not only thrown more touchdowns, he's done it with less attempts. He's done it with 52 less attempts. And the thing is, the rushing game hasn't been as prolific as it has been in the seasons past. Murray has been consistent, 4 yards a carry, scoring 5 touchdowns, but it just hasn't. He hasn't had those big games that I think he's only about 220 yards rushing. So he hasn't had those big games that he tends to have, and that defense is something else because Sirion Yates, the fourth, is currently leading the league in sacks with the 6, and you know what can you say, man? They've just been dominant. They've been dominant every week, and it doesn't look like they're going to be slowing down.
So if anybody can look this up real quick while I'm asking Nacho this question, how many rushing yards does Kevin Say have?
Oh man, that's
season?
A good question.
because let's be honest, we've known now for the last few seasons he's been the key to that offense, right? Shabazz, like you said, played great. I think it was game 2 or whatever game, against Houston, throwing almost perfect. But if Baltimore, Nacho, can whoop up on DC, who, let's be honest, if this was a preseason show right now, and we were talking about the Atlantic, we'd say it's Baltimore's division, but DC is a close second. I don't feel that for sure. I don't feel that way right now, though. So no. After that whooping, so if you look at the other two teams, Carolina and Charleston, Carolina beat Charleston head to head. Does Carolina have a chance to dethrone Baltimore?
Carolina's interesting. They're definitely built well. You know, it always comes down to Harish and how Harish handles the offense. They're like I'm saying, they're a well built team. Their salary cap and the players that they got around their team is just it's what you want to have whenever you're building a team. So for them to compete, it's going to come down to the coaching. That's just how it always works down in the SFL. And I trust in Farish, but not this week. Farish is not going to get that win this week.
A bunch of people in the chat tell him he's got 240 yards, so he's averaging like 80 yards a game. Nacho, Kevin Say, that's not terrible.
That's not terrible,
but it's not the Kevin Say we're used to.
No, see, and that's the thing though. His first game, I believe he didn't have that many. So if they would have had those kinds of carries against Fort Worth that they were missing, it seems like they can actually perform better. Don't put so much pressure on Shabazz,
right?
Because just because Shabazz is great, I mean, one guy can't do it all.
Right. All right, Nacho, thank you, bro. I would say, folks, same thing with Mexico City. I wouldn't push the panic button yet if I was DC. And just a little teaser, we can ask somebody a certain question about that whole DC situation in the owner's box coming up later tonight. Hey-yo. Moving on to Gunny's Fire Watch. Hopefully Gunny is in the building. I'm sure he is, like he always is. Gunny, what's going on, bro? How you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, sir. I got my moonbeam ready to go.
Sounds great. I've got your music queued up, so you're ready to rock and roll whenever you're ready, buddy.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Some quick team stats through week 3. Most points scored, 122 by San Diego. Team total yards, 1,356 by Minnesota. Passing TDs leader, 11, San Diego. Rushing TDs, 7, Minnesota. Net points, plus 54, Baltimore. Lowest passing TDs allowed, 2 by Canton and Sioux Falls. Lowest rushing TDs allowed is shared by 5 teams with 0, Louisiana, Denver, Motor City, London, and Alamo City. The turnover differential is led by San Diego at plus 8. Division leaders. Right now, the West is leading with an 8-3 record. The Central's in second, 8-4. East is 7-5. Atlantic is 6-5. South 5-6. North 3-8. Pacific 3-9. We have 4 unbeaten teams. or 5 unbeaten teams: Arizona, San Diego, Minnesota, Atlanta, and Baltimore. We have 4 winless teams. That'd be Florida, Queen City, Los Angeles, and Seattle. Most dangerous teams that have 1 and 2 records, I believe Houston and the DC Dragons. Most surprising teams at 0 and 3, I would say Florida and Los Angeles. Tonight's episode of Gunny's Firewatch was brought to you by Buc-ee's. The first Buc-ee's was established in 1982 in Lake Jackson, Texas. There are now 43 locations, Buc-ee locations in the United States. Good luck and best wishes to everyone in SFL Nation in Week 4. Dave, that is all.
Thank you, Gunny. Appreciate that. By the way, Gunny, did you know they're building the biggest the biggest Buc-ee's? Hey, by the way, if you haven't been to a Buc-ee's, you should go try Gunny's. The biggest Buc-ee's in the world is going to be in Sevierville, Tennessee, 45 minutes from my house.
Sounds good. I'll make a special trip.
I will probably be moving in there. I'll be doing my show from Buc-ee's. Probably from the Buc-ee's restroom because they're the cleanest restrooms in America. So there you go. All right, Gunny, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you next week, buddy. All right, folks, that was Gunny's Fire Watch. Definitely some teams that are on fire and definitely some teams to watch. I'm gonna, at the risk of, wow, we're only 2 minutes behind, so I'm gonna push it real quick. We're gonna do this. Is gonna be like a speed round. Axel, I'm gonna start with you. The undefeated teams and the teams that haven't won a game. Who's the most surprising to you?
It's to be Florida. I would expect them to go win this.
0-3. Yeah, Albert.
I would probably say Florida, unfortunately.
Yeah, Tyler.
Winless team, Florida. Most surprising winning team is your San Diego Mavericks.
I kind of had a feeling somebody might say that. Nacho.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree wholeheartedly with Tyler there.
Yeah, I guess if Florida was 1-2, I wouldn't be as surprised. 0-3, that is definitely a shocker. Of the 3-0 teams, Baltimore not surprised, Arizona not surprised. I'm a little surprised by Atlanta based on the seasons they've had the last few seasons. I think Atlanta would be my other surprise on the 3-0s as well. All right, folks, that was Gunny's Fire Watch, and that brings us to the next round of divisions, beginning with the Pacific Division and Axel Raven. Axel, this is an interesting division. Now, we've beat the dead horse about how this is Vancouver's division to lose. LA, one of those 0-3 teams that we are maybe a little surprised about. Seattle, who had a tremendous offseason, I'm a little surprised they're 0-3. And then I think Portland just picked up their first game. Tell us about this Pacific Division this week, but then also let me know, is anybody going to give Vancouver, a run for their money in this division at all?
So, all right. So we saw Portland and Los Angeles play over the weekend, division matchup. Both of them were 0-2 heading into it. Portland ends up taking that win. Seattle, I think I wanted them to win. I was trying to will them to win against Indianapolis over the weekend. Didn't quite happen. But they're, big turnaround. I'll start there with, so their offense looked like it turned a corner. They had a balanced attack with some running and the passing. They ended up trading points back and forth with Indy. Really, their defense didn't do their offense justice over the weekend. They couldn't stop Roosevelt, Indianapolis's wide receiver Roosevelt. They're moving up, but need to adjust their defense. I think if they were not having to trade back and forth, 28 points, I think could have beaten Indy if they were to hold them a little bit more. So things are looking good for Seattle, but weren't able to luck out to get that. Again, Portland was battling the Lycans. Portland, they looked like a complete team, finally working together as a team. They looked balanced. Both the offense and defense, both were complementary. The running and passing were complementary, and each one is supporting each other. Really, the thing that comes to mind when I'm thinking about them, how they played in this last game, the whole is greater than the sum of their parts. I think they're starting to look more like the Portland that we've seen when they dominate teams with a balanced attack here and not just Ezekiel Love running people over. But in combination with that, LA though on the other side, they're looking really boomer bust. That either they're looking really good for a minute and then they fall back and don't look very good and turn the ball over or something. Defense, which is usually a very bright spot, is looking a little dim so far in season 20. They can move the ball, but they can't convert those to points. Now I was doing a little math. LA on offense, total yards 1244, but only 59 points scored. That's ultimately 21 yards per point is how much they need to travel to get each point. So a touchdown would be, what is that? 21 times 7.
A lot.
Almost 150 yards. They're having to travel 150 yards to get a touchdown.
Right.
Ultimately, compared to other teams that are 0-3, are averaging more like 15 to 18 yards per touchdown. So that's they're having to travel 21 to 42 yards more than the other 0-3 teams just to get those points.
That's a crazy stat, bro.
It's pretty crazy to see that they're having to go 1.5 football fields to get a touchdown. In essence, Vancouver surprise battle there up north in Vancouver against Atlanta. High flying team held to just field goals in their game. They look surprisingly sloppy, really out of sync, or is it just maybe they're unlucky in the game? It looked like they might have been drinking a little beforehand.
They got a good team though too.
No, they definitely are, but they did not look like it. At least the offense did not look like it on Sunday night. Defense, though, held BDG Hollywood to 1.3 yards per carry. That's 20 carries for only 26 yards.
Wow.
Compared to what he did against Florida a week before. Christian Brown was picked 4 times. So that's pretty... they just could not get it going on offense. So.
Yeah. Before Nacho... ask you a question. I got it. Bo Martin Jr., you need to learn some math, bro. Go back to school, learn algebra, learn some division, something, percentages. San Diego's now 1/3 London's team and 1/3 Lone Star. We got 3 players from each team, maybe 4 from Lone Star. That's like 1/5 of the team or something like that. Nacho, what do you got for Axel Raven there? And stop hating. Green does not look good on you, Bo Martin Jr. Go ahead, Nacho.
Let's talk a little bit about Seattle. How difficult do you think did make it on themselves by having, I think it's I'm looking at it now, 1791 whenever it comes to their cap. We had an 1850 cap. They're way under it. Do you think they're doing a disservice by doing that?
I mean, that's kind of wasted money. Do your best in the offseason. They were able to retain most of their players. And cap grows as the season grows. So maybe next year they'll look very different. I'm glad to hear when I first got our team, Minnesota, with Seattle, hearing from Ethan how excited he was and that he's in it for the long term. So I think they have some long term plans with the people that they have there as well. Gus Scott, Baloo Scott, Tina Queen and Doug Day. They're sort of building. We see Paulie Truth out there. Matthias Citrion. We're seeing a lot of players out there that seem like they, no matter the score, no matter the record, they're there to stay. Yeah, 55-ish, more than 55 points under cap. Animations are between 5 and 7 points, so you're talking, what?
In animations, give or
7
take.
or 8 animations that you could be, giving to a variety of players out there. But they can get those. They can earn those this year. They might be a very different team, come weeks, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So.
Yeah, from what I know from Seattle, I know they're building a great locker room. So hopefully you're right on the money about that, where they're growing into it,
Agreed. Axel, thanks for breaking that down for us. Appreciate it. We'll be back with you in a few minutes with Diva of the Week and your pick'ems too. For week 4. Moving on to the North Division, Albert, looks like you got the North and the South, bro. London definitely impressive this weekend. Motor City, even in a loss, I thought they played San Diego really well. I don't know what to make of Canton. Canton, dude, 3 points, man. That's kind of rough. Just break this division down for me, man.
All right, let's break this down real quick. Very simple. So you got QCC rebuild. Don't expect much from them. Canton. I'll hit that next. Canton is one of those teams. You have an all-star team. They remind me of Dallas Cowboys. The all-star team, can't do nothing with them. Don't know why. Maybe it's a coaching scheme.
They remind you of the Dallas Cowboys.
Damn it, I should have worn my Cowboys jersey.
Yeah, there you go, Nacho.
Hey, why not? I don't care. I'm a Patriot fan. What do I know? Anyway, so then, let's move on to the division here. London and Motor City. If Motor City can come out and play like they did against San Diego, let me tell you, they could be a force. London played the same team and got beat. London came out by the bye week, and they played like lights out.
Mm-hmm.
Played lights out. They had to prove to everyone they were still London. My pick, if Motor City can get their act together and play like they did this week, I get them taking this division.
Wow. Nacho, what do you think about that? And then ask Albert his question, but what do you think about his prediction about Motor City? Holy smokes.
I don't agree. It's that simple to me. I think London's they're gonna come out on top. I think
here's the thing, right? London loses to San Diego week 1, but week 1's always a crapshoot. We know that. And let's be honest, they came back and they were within 7 with a few minutes left in the game. Motor City, man, they were impressive last week. I think those are the two. I would agree with you that those are the two. But let's talk. I heard what you said about Canton being the Dallas Cowboys, but what's your take on Queen City? I asked somebody last week, or maybe it was the week before. I know that the expectations are not high right now. They brought in some co-owners and some coaches to really solidify that team, right? So between the four, between Eric and James and Bovine and Tom Welsh, solid, super solid front office over there. I think now, and disagree, let me know if you agree with me or disagree, Albert, but it seems to me now they just need a season or two to get the right players and kind of put their stuff in motion to try to be the Queen City that they once were. Do you see that happening, in the next season or two, or what do you think?
So this is what I think about Queen City. The games they played, they were in it. They were in it. Good game planning, stuff like, they didn't lose by much, except for I think the last game. So coaching is there. Now it's just getting those plays, like you said, to that level. I give them 2 seasons. That they'll be a contender again. I feel that if they keep the coaching, that's the big thing. They have to keep their staff. They've been too much turnover with the staff. I was part of it like 5 seasons ago. I was part of that. I still believe Green was the first team that I played for.
Right.
But
right.
I see a lot of good things for them.
I brought you in, bud.
I know, Nacho. That's why the love's there, brother. I'm sorry.
Hey, interesting.
Love's there. No hate.
Hey, Dwayne in the chat, real quick. I'm sorry. Dwayne in chat. Canton has 50 less yards per game than the next worst offense. But I wonder if most of that is just because of this last week when they only put up 3 points against Denver compared to the first couple weeks. That's what I love about I guess any sport, but about the SFL is the not parity, but the chat. The more games that we play, the more you can tell, how well a team is going to do or how well they're not going to do. You're gathering more data on these teams. But what I love about a team like Canton is, dude, their highs are high, their lows are lows. And if we can find a Canton that's somewhere in the middle, Albert, last question before we move on. If we find that Canton that's in the middle, can they do some damage in this division?
Of course they could. I'm not counting Canton totally out. But what I've seen, they play good teams, but they miss. I don't know what they're doing over there. I don't know the strategies, or they try something different every week. They don't have an identity. And that's their problem right now. They have to find an identity in the SFL.
Well, we'll see what happens. They got somebody returning after week 4, so we'll see if that makes a difference over in Canton. Albert, thanks for breaking that down, bro.
Not a problem. Anytime. I'm a shop.
Um, Central Central Division. Let's wrap things up with the Central. Tyler, this division is getting interesting. You've got the rivalry that we've talked about a million times. Indianapolis is playing well. Sioux Falls won one or two games. I can't remember exactly. Minnesota looks like a top 3 or 4 team in the league. And then we talked about Tulsa earlier that they're showing up. This division has become extremely competitive. It feels like almost overnight. Do you agree with that? Do you think it's going to be that competitive? Do you think it's going to like work itself out in the wash down the road?
Well, you've got Minnesota, which there is a whole lot of debate whether or not they should be the number 2 team in the league right now. And I think they definitely have a good shot at it. They definitely have the caliber. They definitely have the game plan to do it. Only thing that's going to stop them I'm not going to give everything away for where a whole lot of the rest of the pundits, the SFL are thinking, but a lot of people are still putting them in that 3 and 4 spot because it's only their second season, and because the defending runner-ups, Arizona, are also 3 and 0. I think playing a lot into everyone's rankings right now.
Well, I don't have a problem with that, right, Tyler? I mean, the 2 top teams that went to the championship last season are undefeated this season. They should be 1 and 2, I think, right now.
Right. And honestly, Minnesota's played phenomenally. The passing play for the first 2 weeks by Johnny Reno, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, a 139 QBR through 2 games was phenomenal. Did have that 1 interception this past Sunday night, but 5 touchdowns from Colin Hart and Chris Komisak. Well, that'll get it done in that regard too. 3 touchdowns for a fullback. We haven't seen that in quite a while.
Right.
Since I think Vancouver did it one last season. Anywho, back to the Central Division. Tulsa taking down Florida. Tulsa was the runner-up in the East Division right before they left for the Central Division back in season 18. Sioux Falls, always fantastic, gave Minnesota a good fight there at the end. Didn't really have any answer for Minnesota, and they find themselves at the bottom of the Central barrel, so to speak, which obviously it doesn't mean anything on Sioux Falls. We know how good their defense is. They took down Louisiana week 2.
Mm-hmm.
We know how good that defense will be. We just don't know whether or not the offense can get going right away anymore. But still, you have a fantastic Central Division that can rival the East, can rival the South, and be a thorn in every single opponent's side.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Nacho ask you a question, but before I do, real quick, Tyler, sorry, Jason France, sorry, in the chat he said, if being the last team to beat Baltimore is a tiebreaker, then Minnesota's number 2 and Arizona's number 3. So there you go. There's your tiebreaker. I guess Minnesota deserves to be number 2 in the power rankings. Nacho, what do you have for Tyler?
Let's go to Indianapolis. Do you think that their wins are? I guess. I mean, they beat an 0-3 Florida, and then they beat Seattle, which was a really tough game. But at the same time, if you want to say Seattle's a bad team, right. if you get taken that deep into in that kind of matchup, you're kind of left wanting more. So what do you think about Indy doing with their wins, because they just seem like they're what's it called, fruitless wins.
No, you bring up a good point. Let's touch on Seattle, right? Seattle, since they came in, they only have 1 franchise victory, right? For them to give Indianapolis a run for their shows, I think, more of the heart from Seattle to try and get a win on the road, which would have been their first on the road, than it does say about Indianapolis. Both teams were drawn back and forth with each other, and we can only take a look at that little petri dish of those 2 forces colliding, rather than say this is the same Indianapolis team we will see playing Baltimore. This is the same Indianapolis team we'll see playing Minnesota later in this season. It's taking 2 different parts, I think. And I think Indianapolis definitely has some strong showings. Ryan Roosevelt near tops in receiving touchdowns in the league. says something that he can find his way past some pretty good cornerback number ones in the SFL. And yes, their strength of victory isn't going to show that just yet, but we're only a quarter of the way through the regular season, and every team we talk about right now, Baltimore, for all we know, could go 0-9 to finish out the regular season, but that ain't gonna happen. We all know that's not gonna happen. We just don't know at this point, but that's why we come to Texas Live. That's why we talk on the air. That's why we broadcast. We like to speculate. In Indianapolis, I think, are on a tremendous trajectory for bigger and better things this season.
There was a team.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. There was a team.
Yeah,
go ahead, Nacho.
give me 1 second. Yeah, they got a matchup against Louisiana, so that's gonna be the prove it type game.
For sure. Nacho, you broke up a little bit there, bro. Just FYI. There was a team, Tyler, that started off 3-0 and lost 9 straight, but we won't talk about that tonight. That was a couple seasons ago, and that's what she said. 0-3 or not, Florida is still Florida, and I agree with that. Except, I don't know, man. Maybe they're not the same Florida anymore. We'll see. Tyler, thanks for breaking down the Central. Appreciate that. It's time to move on to our Diva of the Week winners, our nominees, and then we will be moving on to the owner's box. We're running a few minutes behind, but nothing to panic about. Diva of the Week winner for Week 2. And I did it again. I didn't do it last week, and I didn't do this way. I forgot to write down all the nominees. So if you're a nominee, you know who you are. If you nominated somebody, you know who you are. If you voted for them, you know who they are. So that being said, the winner of the Diva of the Week award for Week 2 for Season 20 is none other than Brad Jones, running back from Alamo City, with 30.5% of the vote. And by the way, both weeks, Week 1 and Week 2, we had over 60 votes on these. So that means he had probably 18-ish votes or something like that. So not too shabby. Basically almost a third of the vote. So Brad Jones, and he was actually going to be here, and I got a DM from him a couple hours before the show that he forgot he had a poker tournament tonight. So Brad Jones, good luck in the poker tournament, and congrats on your Diva of the Week win for Week 2. And let's move on to our Diva of the Week nominees for Week 3. I'm seeing Brad Jones getting some love there in the chat. Axel Raven, we're going to go to you first. I'll have each of you say your nominee, and then I'll play the clips for each of you. Who is your Diva of the Week nominee for Week 3 in
Week
Season
3,
20?
It is none other than Ye Verity, kicker for Denver, kicking 5 field goals, making 4 of them, perhaps paying the Denver coaches to be the only scorer during the game. Hashtag all eyes on me. Yeah.
That's always possible. A kicker for Diva. Do you know we have had a couple kickers win Diva of the Week of the week, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I wonder if Kramer Jackman win Diva of the Year or something, or I don't know. Kickers have gotten some love on this show for sure. So let's check out the clip for our first nominee.
The old saying goes, Chad, 10,000 hours to mastery. Well, Ye Verity is well on his way to practicing 10,000 hours worth of kicks here, as this one from 21 is up and good.
So was that the final 12-3, right? So 4 field goals. Okay. All right. So there's nominee number 1. Moving on to Albert, Diva of the Week nominee number 2 for Week 3.
That would be Robert Merrill.
Robert Merrill.
Yeah. I picked him because he came out and did something no other halfback did this week. He got 4 touchdowns, 2 in the air and 2 on the ground.
And he did them all in one half, I think, too, didn't he?
Yep, one half. That man balled out, so he could take the 3rd and 4th off.
There you go. Let's check out the clip of Merrill.
I won't tell you it was Maurice Lloyd. We'll save him that. Merrill, he could go, and Merrill will. He's over, and it is 20, just like his number, to nothing.
Dude, he was already sitting down. He could have rowed. He had to get back up to sit back down to row. He just wanted more of that limelight. That's all. All right, so Robert Merrill is your Diva of the Week nominee, number 2 for Week 3. Who's our third one, Tyler? Oh shit.
Oh, I'm not even muted. I'm not even muted.
Oh.
Nearly muted myself.
Well, at least you weren't talking.
Right. I had to double check. Because my partner last night, who the week before took away my catchphrase,
Ooh.
my sign-off catchphrase, a little bit of revenge because we got him twice.
Let's take it to Chris Curtis and Tyler Falk. Hopefully, they're unmuted for post-game updates. Take it away, fellas.
And the freshly unmuted Flat Cap and White Noise with you. I see you, Cam, on the so subtle reminder that you gave us. Welcome back in to SFL HQ.
Hey, in all fairness, Tyler, too, the SFL clipped out or edited out the muted part, so that's all I could get for the video.
The true definition of white noise.
Exactly. All right, so there you go. There's your Diva of the Week nominee number 3. Nacho, who is our 4th Diva of the Week nominee for week 3?
Yeah, my Diva of the Week goes to my friend Chris Komisak, the Minnesota head coach fullback that decided to draw up 19 rushing plays for a fullback and score 3 touchdowns. You know, something that's unheard of for a fullback, and just for that, he's my Diva of the Week nominee.
Nothing like calling your own number, right?
Exactly, man. 19 plays, 6 more than Colin Hart.
2-yard line.
Crazy.
Can get it maybe to the half-yard line for a first, but they might go touchdown here. Handoff, middle, it is in! Touchdown! Chris Komisak, the fullback, gets a hat trick of touchdowns!
What was Tyler, what'd you say earlier was the last fullback to have 3 touchdowns?
It was the fullback for Vancouver, if I am not mistaken. Let me go ahead and pull up his name real quick.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll talk about my Diva of the Week in the meantime. So my Diva of the Week, believe it or not, I'm kind of going the same route that Axel went. I'm going to nominate a kicker because in only his 2nd game ever, he kicked a game-winning field goal, a walk-off game-winning field goal, and that is no other than Topher Kiefer of Indianapolis. Here you go.
38 yards out, and the left hash. This
Left to right.
to win it. Snap, spot, kick is up, and it is good! The Ramblers roll on to victory in walk-off fashion, 38-35 in a fantastic football game.
Just saying, kicking a game-winning walk-off field goal in your only 2nd game is pretty diva. So there you go, folks. There are your 5 nominees for Diva of the Week of Week 3 in Season 20 of the SFL. Holdorf will get the voting out sometime tonight, so you can start voting. We got a little change to the timing, though. Usually we've been giving you till Sunday night. After about Thursday night, people aren't voting anymore, so it's kind of a waste, especially with the next week starting. So you have from tonight until kickoff on Friday, and when kickoff for the first game on Friday happens, then voting will be closed for Diva of the Week. So there you go. So you've got a couple less days than normal, but you guys were all crushing it in the first few days anyway. So just a little heads up on that. Moving on now, we have a very special guest in the house. The Owner's Box segment that we kicked off last week. Ramos came on last week, did a phenomenal job. I'm expecting a phenomenal job as well this week from the owner of the DC Dragons, Jermaine Smith. Everybody knows him as Lord Destro or Destro. Welcome to the program, bro. Good to have you.
Thank you, gentlemen. How's everybody tonight?
Oh, we're doing great, bro. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing very well. I'm good.
That's good. So the point of the Owner's Box segment, Destro, is basically to give people kind of a history of your club and any SFL history that you have, that people who've joined in the last few seasons, like most of us have, don't really know about. So the first question I would like to ask you is, when did you start in the SFL, and when did you become an owner the first time? And then I'll ask a follow-up question to that because I know you've got some split time.
Okay, thank you. I started out in season 3. I joined Ronnie Nickens' team. It was the Dallas Stars at the time. So I was season 3. the Baltimore Crabs owner, TJ, at the time, he asked me because I was creating historical teams for All Pro, and he asked me, and I was in his league as well. And he asked me, he was telling me about the SFL. He told me about it. I said, let me check it out, see what it's all about. First, I was a little hesitant about it because you can't control the players. But I said, you know what? It's all pro. I like the game. I'm heavily invested in it. So let's go ahead and give it a try. So I was offensive coordinator for season 3 for the Dallas Stars. And then from that point, I left in season 3. Kind of became a sideline in season 4. And then, not to move along too fast, I went and got a team in season 5.
Now, season 5, was it the DC Dragons back then as well?
Yes. It's been the same name. Yeah, I was awarded one of 4 franchise teams for that season, and yep, we were DC Dragons back in season 5.
Okay, now is that the same year you won the championship, or what year did you win the chip?
That same season. Yes, we won the first season. We were 5-3. We squeaked in the playoffs. All three of our games were on the road because we won, but we had to rely on, if I remember correctly, Orlando Intimidators beating Honolulu to get in. If I remember, someone correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a long time, but yeah, by almost 8 years. But yeah, we squeaked in the playoffs, and then we went on a historical run, and all 3 games on the road, and won a championship.
Now, have you been to any other championship games, or was that your first and only one?
That's first and only one, unfortunately.
Okay, so fast forward a little bit. How long were you an owner of DC before you took a break? And my understanding from what I've heard, and please correct me if I'm wrong and tell your story, but at some point you gave up ownership to help the league. So when did that happen? Why did you do it? What did you do for the league before coming back?
I was on for 3 seasons from season 5, 6, and 7, and then Cam, he needed some help on his end when it comes to the rosters and everything. Because I was doing both that season 6 and 7. I was hexing the entire league and also having a team. And I knew by me getting a new job on the outside of SFL, I knew it was getting a little rough and trying to juggle. There's a juggling act. And then Cam asked me, can you help me out? We want to give up your team. And I said, sure. It's the time. Yeah, word's always been out there. I just gave up my team because I didn't feel like doing. That's not the case. The case was that the commissioner, Cameron Irvine, asked me to help him out, and part of that deal was I pretty much had to relinquish the team, and so I did to help him out.
So I forgot to also let the panelists and Nacho know too. If you guys have a question for Destro, just let me know or just throw it out there. But so for the record, Destro, I never heard that version of it. I always heard that you gave up your team to help the league out. But so let me ask you, what changed? Did something change with the league? Was it when we got the portal that you came back, or what was the reasoning for you coming back? Did you just have the itch again to own a team? How did that all happen?
Yeah, the portal wasn't around in season 15 because I applied in season 15, and unfortunately I wasn't voted in for reasons I won't get into right now unless somebody wants to ask me, because I do keep it real with people. I'm honest, but I didn't get one in season 15, but I did get one in season 16, and yeah, I decided to come back because I just had that itch, and I was like, you know what, this roster thing is nice, but it's if with a lot of outside stuff going on with in life, kind of doing these rosters and working these crazy hours and making some mistakes here and there with the rosters. I'm being honest with y'all. And so I was like, you know what? I'm having that itch again of having a team again. I miss seeing that teal, black, and gold out there. Team. There needs to be a team out there with great uniforms. And that's where I had to come back. And then I was like, that's when the itch came. I was like, yes, it's time for me to come back and try to get this ring.
So Albert's going to ask you a question. Let me ask one more thing, and then Albert, I'm going to have you ask him. But so what's the biggest difference you see now, other than obviously the people and the amount of teams, but what other differences do you see in the league from when you were an owner the first time and being an owner now the second time?
A lot more talent. Back in those days, we come in, and I came in with Ramos Lynn, Frank, and a guy named Derek Overstreet. He owned the Louisville team, and we were coming in, and we pretty much, in my opinion, we had the edge. I think Ramos could agree with that. We pretty much had the edge, and so ironically, him and I, we both met each other in the championship game. It was our first season. I don't think that was by mistake. I just think just by playing the game so much, we had a lot of knowledge and we were on top of everybody else. Now, once I step back, so from seasons 8 to 15, it's like the talent pool of coaches and staff, it became better, a lot more knowledgeable, a lot more guys came in. And so now me coming back 16, I'm not going to lie, I had this mindset of, I don't care if I got a bunch of rookies, we're going to smash these guys regardless. But then I learned real quick. I was like, yeah, these guys are a lot better than what I thought. So then that's when I was okay, now it's time to, get into the game again and prepare a lot better.
I think Albert has a question for you. Albert, go ahead.
All right, so I got to know, why didn't you get the team in season 15? I'll ask. I mean, 13.
I knew somebody's going to do it. Even
I'll
Bo,
ask.
do there people in the chat asking too? As soon as he said
I'll
that,
ask.
like 20 hands went up. Go ahead, Destro.
Okay. I'll do the best to explain it as short as I can because I can be long-winded sometimes with my responses. But the reason why I was told was that the fact that I had a team before and some owners felt that since I had access to all their playbooks, that somehow I was going to go in every other playbooks and basically dominate them. Because I keep it real with everyone, I've got every single file from season 6 all the way to, at that point, season 15 or 14. So then they thought that, well, he's going to use that against us. He has knowledge of our playbook, and therefore he has the edge. And then there was the issue of, okay, well, does he really want a team because he cares? He's that passionate SFL, or he's trying to get a team so he can try to sell for $3,000 allegedly, like Crash Combs did. And so all that stuff was coming up, and I was like, really, and like I said, I'm not going to go into that, to a diatribe about that because basically it's like my passion was being questioned. I was like, really? I was like, it's just, are you all for real right now? But I was like, okay. I said, I get it. I understand. It came out of the blue at the last minute, but I felt that, hey, this is America. You have the ability or the freedom to change your mind. And so I was like, hey, I got the urge to want a team again. So hey, I threw my hat in there and I put my bid in, and I know my bid was better than most of the applicants, but then I was told by someone, actually, I went back and read it. I was told by TJ that, hey, some of the guys wanted some new blood. New and fresh blood, but ironically, some of those guys who are new blood haven't stepped the butt crack of a playoffs yet.
Now, so what's your response to the first part of that reasoning? Why you didn't get a team, that you had too much inside information on other teams? What's your response to that?
Man, teams run about 75% of the same play. You're gonna run 90 all slants all day, like some teams do. You're gonna run 50 XA posts. You're going to run 50 HF outs. I mean, I'm calling out plays because sometimes I can see the guys line up and say, oh, I already know they're going to run. I'm not the only one who thinks that. So it's like, if you think that I'm going to go into every single team or my opponent or our opponent's playbook and go through all the files from not just that season, but the previous season before that, and try to scheme you, I don't have time like that. I was like, man, I work 60, 65 hours a week in multiple stores. I'm a general manager. I ain't got time to go in there and go and haul your files. It's more than just going in the playbook. I mean, you got files. I got all this stuff on my computer. I can't just go in there and just do that and now I'm going to put these plays. I'm going to beat you. That's why I thought it was all ludicrous to begin with. But I was like, like I said, I was like, okay, I'll wash my hands of it. And so I said, next time they have an opening, I'll just try again.
Any other panelists? Anybody got a question? I see a couple in the chat, but I want to give you guys a shot. Nacho, go ahead.
Yeah. So Destro, how do you feel about 4K, 2K4, 2K23, or whatever they're calling it? What do you feel about the transition that we're making from APF to that game?
Okay, I'm 50-50 on it, and I'm part of the testing team. I've been in the little testing team for about 3 or 4 months now, and I don't. My part really, I'm just basically just trying to get my team, my uniforms on point, because I will have the best uniforms, and get the stadium on point. That's what I'm trying to get at right now. I was working on it actually while I was waiting for to come on tonight. I'm just trying to get that down, and look, it's great. You can be able to put your logo on there. You can be able to do all this customization. Like I just changed the number font of the state of the field. the markers, the hash mark. I mean, you can do all that stuff. It's nice. I got it matching my jersey, my jersey font on my numbers. Custom fonts. You don't have to use the ones in the game. I went and got Florida State's, and I put it on the team. You can, as long as you line it up properly and correctly, you can use any font that you find on the internet. You use any image. You slap anything on you on the uniform that you want. That's great. The issue I got is just the way the guys move. They move a little robotic, and they run. They kind of run like Humpty Dumpty, like they're high stepping, and it's like I'm just not. That's the part I have an issue with the game per se. I haven't really delved into the playbook or the rosters because I've been so focused on getting the uniforms right, and now I'm worried about the stadium, trying to get that looking nice. I don't want to just have a generic look. I'm trying to find images on the internet. Like I haven't shown pictures yet. Some of the guys on the team, but I got like the end zone, and it's got dragon scales that I custom made, and I colored them in, and I got them custom made to where when you see on the field, I get dragon scales on the end zones. Got both our logos on each side. Has DC Dragons in the middle. On one side, got the DC like the 3 stars and the band and the 2 bars under it, and also have the banner which I created with basically with the DC flag, Maryland flag, and the Virginia flag, all in one little banner, and I put it all right on the end zone. It looks nice, and that took a lot of work to match all the dragon scales. It's very tedious. So yeah, you can't just go in there and just willy nilly and just doing whatever. You got to be on point with it. That's like the positives. But like I said, the negatives is for one, the gameplay. I'm hearing rumors about these playbooks being a little suspect. I'm reading the owner's room, and had a little issue, a little beef this morning about how the playbook's going to operate. I'm unsure about that because I haven't delved into it. Now, and as for leaving all pro, I mean, people who've been around me a long time. I've been hexing. I played the game since day one, July 16th, 2007. Started hexing this game around middle September 2010, and this game and we have a relationship. It's crazy because I went in, they had like on the website, they had like the basic stuff on how to learn how to hex, but I went into the game myself because I wanted to replicate the NFL so bad. So I went in there and started discovering things. With someone who has no formal training of hexagonal coding, I was able to go in there and figure stuff out, just kind of, this gift that I have, and I'll start putting random stuff in. Then I talked to King Havo, who created the editor. I said, okay, check this out, put this in, put that in. He saw all my notes on the internet. He put it all together, and that's how we came up with the editor that we have now. It's like the 3rd or 4th version. But, it's like me and this game are like synonymous with each other. And it's like to walk away from this game to go to a new game, for one, it's going to be hard for me. I'm 46 years old. I'm the get off the lawn type of guy, man. I ain't trying to give up. I ain't trying to give it up. I ain't trying to get married again. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. So this game and I are tight. I got 3-4 copies of the game for Xbox on my shelf. I got the emulator. I got my own website where I was creating custom historical teams, making sure uniforms are on point, making sure all the attributes are on point. My 1953 Browns team have no face masks. Why? Because they had no face masks back in 1953. That's how thorough I am with the rosters and with this game. And so for me to go to this game, it's like it's going to be a little difficult. Let's keep it.
It's like giving up your baby.
Right. Letting your kid go to college or something, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I get that.
Right. That's exactly what it is, because it's like before I've been using this game for the SFL. I've been hexing teams for the SFL. And then like once we changed over to start hexing teams in season 6 up until before the portal was doing it automatically, it's kind of like I was a go-to guy. Destro, this, boom, boom, boom. I could just answer questions at will. I mean, I can do it to where I don't even need an editor. I can go in there in the hex coding and do it myself. I got notes and composition books from back in 2010. I still got in the closet somewhere because I wrote thorough notes on coding and everything.
Destro, I got to ask you, bro, how did you stay out of coaching so long when you're this passionate about it? When you get
once again, it's like life. Like I said, my life got in the way, part of it, and I was like I said, I'll never get the conversation. It was a little call between TJ, Jacksonville owner Frank and Cam, and then we was talking about other stuff going in the league. And Cam asked us if any of you guys had to give up your team to help out on the front end, who we want to do it. And I was the first one because I was like, you know what? I don't say my passion was gone, but I knew I had other things going on. I was like, you know what? I'd rather have someone else have my spot to where they had the time to where they can have a team, they can be able to put in that work. I don't want to go half-assed. So I'd rather have them take my spot to where they have a passion. They deserve to be in that spot. Me, I'll just sit back and be in the front end and help Cam out as the league president.
I want to ask you one last question, Dester, before we let you go.
Okay.
Obviously, you're passionate about the game. You obviously love the SFL enough and are committed enough to it that you were willing to give up your team to help the league out and then come back and get a team. What is it about the SFL in particular that has kept you around so long and hopefully is going to keep you around a lot longer?
Competition, well, on the field, competition. You know, the fact that, Baltimore's our thorn on our side. We've lost last four times.
Yeah.
And not just lost, we got beat down. And we got beat in four different ways, too. Where they did it in multiple ways. So it's like, it aggravates you. But it's like, you want to be able to go do it again. It felt so good to defeat them in season 18. I was so I was hyped. I had tears in my eyes, and usually I don't get all hyped over a game like that. Trying to get emotional when it comes to things like that, but it's the fact that we beat them at home, and it's about time because it was the first time we've ever beat them ever. Even back near the Crash, we never beat them, and I felt so good. So then, just that competition of being able to just to go after that team in particular, because that's they're our rival. And then then off the field, it's kind of, I've developed some friendships. There's people that I talk to all the time. There's guys I talked to before SFL, but there's guys I met, like Mark Chisholm, the Atlanta owner. I met him through the SFL because he was on Queen City. Then he was my offensive coordinator, and then he'll get his own team. There's guys that I talk to, and I'm able to see guys who kind of was on my team, and I was able to see them flourish and get their own team. Deion Hawkins, he came on in season 7. He was a running back, and
He's
once
in the
he
chat
left
right
here,
now, actually. He's talking about you right now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
All right, what's up, man? So then, he joined in season 7. Restelli, he came on in season 7. He was the fullback, if I recall, on my team, and then. Was it Deion Hawkins? He moved on and he went over to Houston for a season or 2. After he went somewhere else, and he finally got a team. And I was good to see someone that you brought into. Well, I didn't really bring him in the league, but he was on my team.
Right.
The fact that now, he's on the team. It's just relationships, and unfortunately, I've only been to one convention. With my job and stuff, I got a lot of issues. I work in a restaurant, so you know how unpredictable that is in the food industry. So it's like, I plan on going all of a sudden, this person quit on you, this shows up, what have you. So therefore, you just got to stick around. But yeah, it was good. Like that convention, I liked it. It was bare bones. It was simple. It wasn't exotic like the Las Vegas convention that you guys probably had the fortune of having. But, it was cool. I don't know, Texas hot as I don't know what, though. Damn.
Well, that was like in June.
Yeah, it was
like
in July or July. Yeah, June or July. Yeah.
It was hot.
Well,
I came outside at midnight and damn, it's 98 degrees. I'm like, shit. Yeah.
Destro,
Shoot, I come out here and lose about 100 pounds in the summer.
Dude, yeah. Well, dude, I never go to I have friends in Texas, but I never visit during the summer for that reason exactly. But, Destro, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show tonight, bro. Really appreciate all the insight on the game, the history, your passion, all of that. Would love to have you back on the show sometime in the future. And good luck this season, except for week, was it 7? I don't know, whenever we play you.
Oh, it's San Diego, right?
Yeah.
That's a win for us, all guaranteed.
Oh, hold on. I'm clipping this. I am clipping this. I'm clipping this. Damn it. Yeah, as long as Kevin Say doesn't run over us like you did when we were at Lone Star, then we'll be all right. I don't want any more of that. I don't want any more of that.
It'll be a good. It'll be a good game regardless, man. I know.
That's all right.
But we gotta get a W though.
I'm just letting you know. I'm clipping that just so I can play it after if we beat you. Just FYI.
That game
That's
is
fine.
week 13.
That's fine. You tag me all you want to.
Okay. Oh, Freddie says. Oh, it's up to week 13.
Yeah, it's week 13.
Yeah, I know it's later. I know it's later in the
I thought it
season.
was in the middle
Yeah, I think it's later in the season.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely see you then, and maybe you can come back on the show when we play, and we can hash it out a little bit.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you, sir. Thank you, gentlemen. Have me on.
All right, Destro. Thank you, bro. Everybody, that was Destro, the owner of the DC Dragons, giving us a little history lesson and giving us a little insight to playbooks and the way things work and his passion. Somebody in the chat, the Bone Frost says, surprised Dave is on a construction site but not wearing a hard hat. Safety first, Dave. Sorry, bro. Wait, how about this? What if I do this? Does this count? Does that work? How about that? There you go. How about that? All right, folks, we were running behind, but I got to be honest with you, that was more than worth it. So we'll whip through the predictions pretty quick. Before we do this week's predictions, though, let me give you an update, Tyler, on the other weeks that we've been doing here. All right, so check this out. We talked about Josh going 11-2 in week 2. Well, last week, look at Daniel. Daniel went 11-2 as well. Nate 8-5. Tyler 6-7. Deputy Commissioner 5-8. Bro, sorry man, I don't tell you about that one. All right, here we go. Week 4 games. We're gonna whip through these. You guys don't give me any breakdowns, whatever. Just give me team names and that's it. Starting on Saturday afternoon, 1 p.m. London at Canton. Axel.
London.
Albert.
London.
Tyler.
London.
And Nacho.
London.
Clean sweep for game 1. Game 2 on Saturday, 1:15. Jacksonville at Atlanta. Axel. Atlanta. Albert. Jacksonville. What did I say? It was Jacksonville at Atlanta. Okay. Tyler.
I know you said no breakdowns. Here's a quick breakdown. Atlanta and Jacksonville. Number 1 rushing offense versus the number 1 number 1 rushing offense versus the number 1 passing offense. I gotta go Atlanta.
Where's my muted bro fucking thing when I need it? Nacho.
Atlanta.
So 3 Atlantas. Albert, the only one picking Jacksonville. 6:30 p.m. Saturday night. Alamo City at DC. Axel.
Yep, looks like Destro's not here. I'm gonna have to go Alamo City.
checking the voice chat real quick. That's hilarious. Okay, Albert. Obviously.
Why even ask?
I don't know. You know, I just want to get it on record. Like I got Destro on record that he's going to beat San Diego.
All right, Alamo City.
I'm shocked. I can't believe it. Tyler.
Alamo City.
Nacho.
It's my heart, but Alamo City.
Okay.
Breaks your heart. Come on.
Dude, yeah, you know how it is. Game 4 on Saturday, 6:45 p.m. Mexico City at Charleston. Axel.
Charleston bounces back.
Say one more. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, bud.
Charleston bounces back.
Charleston, okay. Albert.
I go Charleston.
Tyler.
Charleston.
Nacho.
Charleston.
Dude, is it just are all these games going to be one-sided tonight? Jeez. 9 p.m. Saturday, Minnesota at Vancouver. That's going to be a good game.
Ooh.
Axel, who you got?
Minnesota.
Yeah. You think, Albert?
I'm gonna go Vancouver. They're home.
I don't know, man. Vancouver just I don't know what 9 points on this week. I don't know. At home, by the way, at 9 points at home against Atlanta. Albert, do you think Atlanta's better than Minnesota?
I don't think anything. I'm just.
I don't think anything.
That's no breakdown.
I know, Tyler. Sorry. Well, I'm going to break in the rules like Tyler. Apparently, Tyler, who you got?
Back to your previous question about who the last fullback was to get the hat trick of touchdowns.
Yeah.
It was Sawyer Stern.
Okay.
You'll be in the inferior fullback to Minnesota as the legend become once again legendary.
There, boom. There you go. All right, who you got in this game? Is that was that your way of saying Minnesota, Tyler?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I mean, dude,
Minnesota.
Dude, you were talking about the fullback thing. I didn't see the segue there. My bad. Nacho, go ahead. Damn. Minnesota. All right. What is this? The last game on Saturday, Vegas at San Diego. Axel.
San Diego.
Albert.
Real tough choice. Amish Mafia, San Diego.
You can't, dude. You know what happens if you pick against the Amish Mafia, bro? I come to your house where you're sleeping and shave your beard.
I am the Amish Mafia.
Tyler, who you got in this one?
Mavs.
And Nacho.
San Diego.
Dude, these are all one-sided games. You guys are all gonna have like the same record when I show them next week. Sunday, 6:30 p.m. kickoff. Fort Worth at Carolina. Axel.
Fort Worth.
Fort Worth. Albert.
You gonna make me say this after you diss me?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, Fort Worth.
All right. Tyler.
Skyhawks.
Ooh, you're gonna be the only one. All right. And Nacho.
Yeah, Fort Worth.
Gotcha. Let's see. 6:45 p.m. Indianapolis at Louisiana on Sunday. Axel.
Louisiana.
And Albert.
Louisiana.
And Tyler.
I'm doing it again. Indy.
Dude, really? Wow, look at you. Tyler, keeping it real. Nacho, what's up? Louisiana. That's actually going to be a really good game. That one, I'm not surprised it's 50-50. Justin Reside in the chat. Really, this panel? No love for Vegas? Really? Fury will show this panel that. So I got to clip DC, and now I have to clip Justin. Unbelievable. All right. Sunday, 9 p.m. Motor City at Arizona. Axel.
Arizona.
Albert.
Arizona.
Tyler.
Zona.
Nacho.
Zona.
Dude, if Motor City wins this game, like Albert mentioned before, they're going to be for real in their division. Seattle at LA Sunday night 9:15. Axel.
Seattle. They get their first.
Albert. I mean, this is a battle of the unbeatens. I mean,
yeah, it's tough.
I mean, the
I'll
beatens,
go
I
home
guess.
team. I'll go.
Go home team. Go LA. Okay.
Yeah, I guess
Tyler.
so.
I'm also going Seattle.
And Nacho.
Seattle.
Wow. 3 Seattles and an LA. We'll see. That's gonna be interesting. And then the last game. 1, 2, 3. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 teams on buys. So less games this week. The final game, the Monday night game, which I think at the beginning of the season, Axel, would have been a great thing on the schedule. Florida at Portland. Not looking that great this season as we go into week 4. But who you got?
I think Florida gets it.
Albert.
I'm going to go against the grain like I have been. Portland.
Tyler.
The Fleet survive the thunderstorm.
Wow, really? Florida going to go 0-4? Nacho, what do you think?
Florida.
Yeah, I just
can't see.
There's something to me that just thinks Florida 0-4 just doesn't feel right or something. It doesn't look right. I don't know. I think I would if I had a survivor pick left for Florida, I'd probably pick them this week, but I don't because they lost to Tulsa. Thanks, Dion. Appreciate that. All right, there's your pick'ems, folks, for week 4. As we get ready to say goodbye, we're only 8 minutes beyond, so we'll be only 10 minutes late. That's not bad for this show at all. Freddie, you around? You ready to send us off, singing away, saying turn out the lights, the party's over?
Yeah, Dave, how you doing? Good evening, everybody. Great show as always. Great panelists. And as our good buddy Dandy Don would send us off with, turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end. Let's call it a night. The party's over. Until next week, where we'll party down again. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Good night, Freddie. Thank you. Appreciate that. Special thanks to Freddie and to Gunny for his fire watch. Special thoughts, prayers, well wishes go out to Bullet Beletsky, and hopefully I'll have heard when I get off the air that he's okay. Axel. Albert, Tyler, Nacho, thank you guys for being on the show. Really appreciate you guys. And by the way, I forgot to mention, I meant to say it and I forgot. I'll go back and look, but I think James Klein was the first one to guess that Nacho was the guest host. So the surprise guest host. So I'll go back, but I think James Klein, I think you might have just won yourself some Axis swag. Speaking of Axis swag, the Valentine's Day poll is still up, so anybody who answers that gets put into a drawing for swag, as well as don't forget to vote for Diva of the Week. It's already in there. I see that Holdorf put it in almost immediately after we put our nominees, so please go vote for Diva of the Week voting. It closes at kickoff on Friday, whatever time that was. So thank you to all the party people. Love you guys. Appreciate you for being here and being active in the chat. If I missed any shout-outs, I apologize. I'll get you next time. In the meantime, we'll see you next Tuesday night on February 7th. 9 p.m. on Tuesday on Twitch when we see you at the Tees.